Hello and welcome to another episode of the Get Out of Gaming Plus podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Ben.
I'm Alex.
We are a bi-weekly podcast talking about everything nerdy that we like. Hopefully you like as well. We have this, if you're listening to this right now, we're on all major platforms wherever you would get your audio podcast that launches on Wednesday of that week. But then we also have a video podcast that launches on Fridays on YouTube. So check us out there. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we're on Threads. Check us out. So, some really great things to talk about here today with the podcast. Alex, how was your weekend?
That was a random thing. You're like some really
I like
great
to throw
things.
you off
We're
the
gonna
game.
we're gonna talk about. Hey, how's your weekend? My weekend.
I
was
wanted to throw
fine.
your game off a little bit.
Oh yeah,
Throw some.
it did. Got to get my head in the game. My weekend was fine. I mean, we did stuff and that was cool.
We did stuff.
We played a board game, something I don't do often.
We did. Their buddy Zach.
Yeah, Zach, friend of the show. Shout him out, I guess, on different things that he may or may not be still doing. Because last time we talked to him, it sounds like it's kind of. But yeah, we've had Zach on the show. If you want to look him up. I think we've have an episode titled with Zach or something like that. Go look up an old episode, and you're sure to find him there. But yeah, no, we played what was it? A Goofy Movie, the board game by Funko.
Yes, we did.
And that was actually pretty fun. Pretty easy, but like it was legitimately fun. And as far as I know, like it's fairly cheap too. Like I think he said Amazon has it for like $13 or something. So
Yeah.
So I guess
Yeah.
go and buy it. Honestly, like that's a game like your kids could play, like all your kids.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty simple to play. It was pretty fun. I like how when we were playing, poor Zach, he was like, "I'm not winning this because I'm not doing the proper strategies." You know, as where me and you had strategies, what we were playing it on.
Yeah.
It was so much fun. So,
Yeah, definitely. And then we played what was that game called? AEW.
yeah, I had no idea what I was doing the entire time. I would either fall out of the ring and try to get back in, or I think at one point, didn't you hit me with like an electric bat?
Yeah, I kept picking those up somehow. Like they were like a nail bat, but then it was like electric as well, or barbed wire. Electric fence bat. Yeah. I kept finding those and like from the audience or underneath the ring or whatever. I got compared to the other wrestling game that we played last year with Zach, 2K, which I believe is on Game Pass now.
Yeah, it is.
But yeah, compared to that one where I felt like I didn't know what I was doing, I actually knew what I was doing in the game over the weekend. Like I never played it before, but I got a hold of like it really quickly. Like once I switched the moves, once I switched run to like a trigger instead and all of that, like yeah, it felt very smooth. It felt very fun. Yeah, it's a really fun game. I'm curious. Zach kind of said though, like there isn't much to it. It's not really getting like updated per se, but like for what we played though, I had a fun time. I don't know how much it's worth to me just yet, but if it was on Game Pass, I'd download it.
Yeah, it was kind of fun. Like when you stepped out, he had Marvel vs. Capcom 3 going, and I was playing for a little bit. And I was like, "Hey, you want to go against me?" And he saw me playing, and he's like, "No, not really." That's my forte. Yeah. So in this show, we like to not only talk about that and stuff, but we have a section called Hidden Treasures and what we are playing. And we always start off our show with that to kind of show you some things that we've picked up, either game hunting, we're both big collectors, or things that we're kind of watching. And Alex, I know, has quite the little handful, which by the way, I was watching your buddy's Element yesterday.
Oh yeah.
That's so fast. If you've not checked them out on Whatnot, it's so fast. Like they put a game up and it's like gone in like 2 seconds.
Yeah, they're like a company. Like there's like 3 or 4 hosts and they just go that super fast.
I've never seen one so fast, and they start everything at $1.
Sometimes.
And yeah, this one was all dollar with free shipping.
Yeah,
And
they've been doing free shipping for a while, but the unfortunate part is I haven't been buying anything because I found nothing good.
yeah, I watched it for about like good 30 minutes, and I was like, man, if they come up with like a Famicom Mega Man or something like that,
Sometimes
I,
they do.
yeah, I would probably buy that for $1 or two or whatever. But like, yeah, it was pretty crazy because like you would get to it, and I was like, oh, I could maybe as being a reseller maybe sell this. By the time I would get it looked up, it was gone. They did like it was like 10 seconds,
5
maybe.
seconds sometimes even.
I think it was 5 because literally they would put it up and it would be gone, and they would put another one. So if you ever get a chance to check them out, that they are very good on Whatnot.
Yeah,
Very reputable
they also
sellers.
do card games as well under Game Elements. So Elements, but with a Z instead of an S. Um, but yeah, they do like anime cards, Pokemon cards, stuff like that too. But yeah, that's where I get a lot of my Japanese things. I also get it from Game Fox as well, who's been in my streams before. Which I have some of that stuff showing up maybe a couple days, so that'd be fun.
I'm actually kind of excited to show you your pickups because I was with. If you're going to show those things that I was with you with,
Oh, I didn't think about that. They're behind me, but am I going first? Did you make me go first?
I did because I only got like
Oh,
4 things.
okay.
Nothing crazy this week.
So I'd say that these right here in my hand roughly were about 8 a piece. I paid like 50 flat. I was originally gonna pay 40 flat, but then I waited 2 years and prices increased, and the guy was like, "Do you still want these?" And I was like, "I guess." And he paid for shipping and everything. So I have 6 Game Boy games here. I have let me move. Actually, for audio listeners, I'm gonna actually show things to the camera. So you should go on youtube.com/GetAtGaming and watch the video version at the same time as the audio. So I got Kirby's Dream Land.
I love that game.
I got Pocket Bomberman, which is a Game Boy Color game as well, technically, because it's black. Super Mario Land 2. 6 stolen coins. Everything's pristine, too.
Yeah, those look really good for as old as they are.
Super Mario Land 3. Wario Land. Tetris.
Classic.
And Yoshi, which I've never
I
played
totally
before.
forgot. I have it for NES. I totally forgot that it was on Game Boy though.
Yeah, it's one of those matching games, right? It's not like Yoshi's Cookie, but like it's
Yeah.
like the eggs, right? Like the eggs in Shy Guys.
Yeah, and there's like super moves you can like work towards, and not like it's been a while, but
Yeah.
the Shy Guys I'm pretty sure are in it.
Okay. Or maybe Sniffits or something. I don't know. I always forget which one's which. Sniffits are the ones that like shoot out the bullets out of their noses. That's why they're called Sniffits. So that's what I got here. I also caved and went to a card game store, and what are these? I just have sleeves here. Okay. I ended up buying some Digimon cards. I bought a box of Digimon cards, and then I opened these up on my stream on Sunday night, twitch.tv slash or not get at gaming, twitch.tv slash cheetar02. And so it was a lot of Digimon Saver stuff, which is actually what I wasn't expecting, but it makes sense for what the theme was, because it was versus Royal Knights, and in the 5th series of Digimon, that is like a plot point near the end where they fight the Royal Knights. So they fight Omnimon or Omegamon in Japanese, Dukemon, Gallantmon, just a bunch of like the big ones. They fight them, and yeah, so like a lot of like the rares and stuff were those, or they were like the characters from that. So my box topper was this Metal Gurumon Ace, which is like a new mechanic for the Digimon card game. Essentially, um, you can get something good out fast, but then there are repercussions for it later. Like if it dies or if it has to leave for some reason, then you basically lose your next turn, essentially, because you get penalized for it. And then it gave me a different full art of one of the tamers, so Masaru or Marcus Damon, the English. Um, and then the big ones out of these, I got an Alphamon, and then I got an Omegamon Omnimon. So this Alphamon here, I want to say it was worth close to $50 for what I was looking at online. And then the Omegamon is probably like about 20 or so. So basically almost made my money back, I would say, for the box that I bought. Because the box, I want to say, was like 80, maybe a little more. But yeah, it was cool to have some cards. I need to look up the actual cards that I need now, because I was hoping that I would get a certain type of card multiple times, but I didn't. I didn't get any of them. And so I got all these other things that are really cool that I might make something out of now, just because I have more of them. But I'm really focusing on making the Dukamon Gallantmon deck, as I have been with the series 3 Digimon Tamers Digimon stuff, just because it's a powerhouse of a deck.
Oh yeah,
But it's a fun time. I'm really hoping it's they also did because they were at Gen Con, because Gen Con happened last weekend. So a bunch of cool things and stuff happened there. They posted like a week before then, Bandai posted a video that finally like explains how to play the game. Because the only time they've really done that is, hey, play this tutorial on your phone, and it's in like a iOS Android game thing that teaches you how to play, and it's like convoluted and doesn't like explain everything quite right. But they finally have like a 10-minute video that just is like, here's how you play the game, here's how things happen, here's the order of things. And they introduce new things like mulligans now, and they change how mulligan works. It's no longer just putting the hand that you don't want at the bottom of the deck. You now actually shuffle the whole thing, so you have more of a chance. You also, there's that ace thing, which have counters now as well, and like I learned stuff just by watching that video. So if you're even well versed in the Digimon card game now, I'd recommend anyone who's interested to watch that video, just so you can learn some interesting new things that are happening on the actual like competition side. I'm hoping that they make like a video game of this, like how they do with like Magic, or how they do with like Yu-Gi-Oh and stuff like that. I think that'd be really awesome, because they did that back when on PS1. There's a Digimon trading card game on PS1, I want to say, for the original one, or one of the originals, I should say. So I think that'd be really cool to do. I think it'd sell really well. I just don't know how viable it is to do, but I would pay that, and then it would also help a lot of other people who want to play the game but don't want to spend money. I will say Digimon is fairly cheap card game. So especially like if you're buying like singles and stuff, a lot of cards are just very, very cheap. It just gets expensive when you want to like get one of the bigger cards. Like one of the cards I bought before, which is like a super special card, I think I paid like $35 for once, and that was just for one of them. But that's better than Magic. Like Magic is hundreds, I feel. And that's why I'm not playing Magic, because side tangent, this isn't on our news, but did you hear how Magic the Gathering is doing some sort of collaboration with I think it's like Doctor Who this year, and then they're doing Final Fantasy.
I did hear that.
And so I'm not buying any because I don't want to play Magic ever again, and I don't want to support that game. But at the same time, just imagine just open up a pack of Final Fantasy, and then there she is. It's just there's Terra from Final Fantasy VI. Like that'd be awesome.
I mean, no lie, I think it was really cool when they did the collab with Godzilla.
Yeah, they
That
even
was
did that
super
Lord of the
cool.
Rings thing recently
Yep.
too.
I think that'd be super cool to open a pack and be like, oh look, it's the best player from one of the best games. It's Waka. Why are you laughing? Waka's got a strong defense and offense, especially when you get like the
In Blitzball.
what is it? Yeah, you have to get like the top ball, and once you get that, I mean, he's got sleep, he's got dark. You're good to go. So I might buy Magic cards just to see if I can get some. It depends on who there's in there.
They're gonna be next year as well. So like they've announced that it's next year. So you'll be waiting.
I'll probably forget because I was like, man, when they get those Godzilla cards, I'm buying some, and then I never did.
Was it just Godzilla or was it other like Toho stuff?
I think well, it was Godzilla in the Godzilla universe.
Okay.
So like Ghidorah probably was in there. I think I'm not. I know it wasn't just Godzilla, but Godzilla, Ghidorah, and somebody else. I mean, it wasn't like a ton, but at least it was like the main monsters. Maybe Mothra.
Yeah.
So,
and then here's what else I bought that you were talking about. For audio listeners, I have a bunch of Dot Hack decks that I have not opened yet. I have 10 of them here. They're $3 a piece, so I think that was pretty.
Also, the lady ringing you up was super cool. She was like very much interested in what they were.
Yeah, exactly. I've noticed that with Ollie's. Ollie's people are always confused. They're like, "So wait, what is this? Why are you buying this?" I'm like, "Well, you see, I'm not a reseller. I'm not Ben over here. I'm not the scum of the earth. I am an obsessed otaku who just is buying everything Dot Hack in hopes that they revive Dot Hack. And I know they're not going to, but you know, if I keep buying these and just posting them online, maybe someday, you know, just yeah, we'll see. Oh, at first I thought it said 2010 is when this came out. No, that's when the game is set. It's set in the year 2010. I forgot. Back in the year 2003, the future 2010, where we had VR and all that. So yeah, if people, I want to say again, I think I said it last week as well or last time, but Dot Hack GU is on sale. I want to say everywhere right now. It's on sale on PSN. I think it's on sale for $5 still. It's on sale on Switch still, maybe for like 16, and then it is on sale on Steam. I heard recently, and I forget how much that one is. I think that one's like closer. I think it's like somewhere in the middle. I think it's probably like 8 or something like that. But yeah, if you're interested in Dot Hack, you never watched or played any before, you don't need to know anything to get into that one, but I highly recommend, if you have a way, play the original 4 first. It's pretty much all I've got here for what I've been buying. Let's see. You want to go first then, and then we'll go back, or you want me to continue with?
Well, you can just keep going. I feel like you got that attention right now of like everybody that's listening, and you just gotta like just
own
hit it home, man.
All right. Well, you see, I haven't really been watching anything. Now I'm thinking about it. I've been watching passively. I've been watching Dragon Ball Kai still. We're in the Cell. Cell just absorbed 18.
One of the best ones.
And so now we have Perfect Cell. He sounds off in Kai. I don't know what it
Really?
is. He just sounds kind of like, cause it's all re-recorded, and it's probably like years later, and so he just I don't know. He sounded more Plankton to me. I know he's not the voice actor of Plankton, but like they sound exactly the same.
Right. That
Uh,
would be hilarious if someone out there switched Plankton's voice over to him, and then as Goku, like as SpongeBob, and then maybe like Gohan as Patrick. That would be
I'm
that would
sure
be.
that exists. I'm
I
sure
would
that
totally
exists
watch that.
somewhere. Like, I mean, there's that one guy. I don't know who it is specifically, but I've seen like fan edits and stuff of like not a bridge series of Dragon Ball because that's not really a thing anymore, but it's like Gary's mod, like 3D models
Oh
talking
yeah.
and doing things. So it's like here's Cell hanging out with Kermit the Frog, and they're just like
Yes.
doing random stuff. And he's like,
Those are
Hey
hilarious.
Cell, we should go over here. And he's like, "What do you mean, Kermit?" It's just I don't know. It's weird stuff. It's weird in
It's
that
funny
time.
though. It's
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Kermit swears at some point.
Oh, probably. He probably never mind, I don't want to say that joke. Never mind. Um but yeah, I haven't really been doing much. I'm trying to think. Yeah, not really anything. Now I'm thinking about it. I kind of just watch YouTube and fall asleep. Not even really play games anymore. I'm gonna be honest. I try to play my Switch,
Yeah.
and then it just sits there, and then I fall asleep, and I wake up right beside my Switch on my bed. Oh, I guess.
I feel like this is a weird time because with your job's gonna pick up pretty quickly. I'm still fresh in my job.
Yeah,
So it's like long days. And
yeah.
so I mean I watched your stuff last night for a little while. And I even
Oh yeah,
I was on there last night and I played a little bit of Halo. And then I was like, I want to play my Switch. So I played a little bit of Switch.
yeah. Got
So I
caught
get that.
red-handed playing
Yeah.
Ages or whatever. But yeah, I forgot. Yeah, I've been playing Digimon Survive. I'm streaming that. I streamed it twice. I'm on chapter 3 or part 3. It's getting a lot better. Um, someone maybe died already, so that's interesting to see. Um, but yeah, I'm enjoying the story more than the gameplay a lot. And it seems like your choices and stuff actually matter. So
Yeah.
we'll see how that goes. Are you ever gonna go back to that game, or is that just kind of a lost cause for you?
I don't know. Like it's sitting back there. Um, I don't know. I don't know. I feel like my Switch is like I actually downsized some of my Switch titles because for the longest time I was buying them and then they weren't ones I was going to play. So, and I actually bought a couple limited run games for fairly cheap. I play those because they're pretty easy to pick up. Um, but mostly for my Switch, the things I play the most are like the Nintendo, the Super Nintendo, N64,
Mm-hmm.
Game Boy a lot. I probably play that more than anything. Um, just because it's like I could do it in handheld mode, I can play, and then I can go to bed.
Mm-hmm.
So
Cool. I had water in my mouth. That's why I wasn't talking. Um, but yeah, I guess that's all I've really been doing. So I'll throw it over to you. What are your hidden
well,
trophies? What are your
Alex
fun
was
things?
actually there. We were both there for some of our purchases, but this one kind of made me like snicker as a little kid. So I think on this podcast we've talked several times. My goal is to get 300 NES games before my son graduates from high school, and he's going into his senior year. And so Zach, out of the blue, our buddy Zach was like, "Hey, I've got some NES games at my grandma's house. Do you want them?" And so I was like, "Well, let's just see what they are." He had some really, really big ones, and it's funny because one of the games I'm going to show, every time Alex goes out of town, I ask him for this game, like almost most of the time.
Yeah,
Um, but the good news is I'm at 293 NES titles.
you're almost there.
Yeah, and so I'll just kind of go through these. For the listener, I'm holding it up. So one was Donkey Kong 3, which Black Label made me feel really good. All these that I got from Zach were really good condition, like super good. One that people probably are surprised I don't own, I got Ghosts and Goblins. And it's funny because I remember renting this as a kid and getting so mad.
Yeah.
The game is just ridiculously hard. I got Chrysalis, I think I'm pronouncing it
Yeah.
correctly. This was another one that I had been looking for a while. And last but not least, which Alex knows this one, Popeye. And it's Black Label as well. It basically is like Donkey Kong, you know?
Yeah.
But Zach had all these, and he was gracious enough to sell it to me for like we actually did a trade. Um, so and I also got the Legend of Cage, but I forgot to grab it. You know, not like a crazy big titles, but you know, ones that I've been looking for. But the good news is we're almost there. I'm at 293.
Look at
So
that. If only you bought that Flintstones here at the local place, then you would have been 294. It sold.
yeah, I want to kind of throw this out here real quick. So funny story is Alex sent it to me. A disc replay here had the exclusive Flintstone NES game that was a Blockbuster exclusive. That's why it's so expensive. And the crazy thing was is I was texting, he sent me a picture, he's like, hey, check it out. It was for $699. That is an ungodly amount for an NES card. But the thing is I know this very well. They don't open the card up, as far as I knew. So unless someone came in and brought their own toolkit and opened it, I wouldn't spend that. Also, they suspended all the comments, which was weird.
Yeah, I
I don't know if
noticed
you
that
saw
too.
that.
I thought that was kind of weird because originally they weren't, and then I wonder if it's just because people are like, "That's too expensive," and so they're just like, "This is dumb."
I mean, it's so rare. Like, I'm not a big of like NES games, but that's a rare one because it was only at Blockbuster. I
Yeah,
mean, you gotta. There was a couple Super Nintendo games that were only at Blockbuster as well. Those are super rare. So, what was it? I think it was like a Clay Fighter N64 game that's like, was that
yeah,
Blockbuster?
the director's cut one or sculptor's cut. I don't know what it's called,
I
but
mean,
yeah,
you could. That's like a $2,000 game now. I think it's crazy. Um, as for what I'm
yeah,
watching, I did watch the new Guardians of the Galaxy. I will not spoil it for anybody. It was sad. It was not like the normal ones. I told this to Alex. I said, just no, it's super kind of sad. I did like it though. I did like how it kind of ended that there. Other than that, I've not been really watching a bunch of stuff.
mm-hmm.
I did rewatch. So sad. I did rewatch Nintendo Quest again. I don't even know what time this is at this point. Um, Only because they're working on N64 Quest right now, and so super stoked about that. Um, so if you guys are listening, Robert J, that is one of my all-time favorite movies or documentaries of all time. I think that's what I started me collecting again, me and my son.
Yeah.
Uh, so, well, let's kind of jump into some craziness that happened this last week or so. Uh, Starting off, so the highly anticipated game WrestleQuest got delayed hours before it was supposed to come out. This story is from Kotaku here. So here's the crazy thing is they've been talking about WrestleQuest forever. It looks great. It's like wrestling RPG there. Um, but hours before it was set to release on August 8th, Mega Cat Studios pulled the game. And you're thinking to yourself, why would they pull it? Um, there was some pretty crazy glitches with the game, including, um, you know, some issues with deleting save files. So Skybound Games, who also was part of it, they have a on their Twitter released a statement saying that first off it got moved to August 22nd is the big thing.
Mhm.
It says MegaCat Studios and Skyborn Games announced today that WrestleQuest will now be launching on August 22nd across all platforms. When performing final checks on one of our launch platforms, we discovered it was possible for players to lose their save game process by playing WrestleQuest on multiple different devices. Because this game is filled with hours of content and the player progress is so important, we can never body slam our fans like that. We are truly proud of this game. We believe that we have a product that delivers on all counts. We're blown away by the support we've seen from the players and excited for WrestleQuest. Um, I know that there was some pretty negative comments in there, but you know what? This to me is a game company that is doing it right. They found a glitch. They found something that was pretty serious that you wouldn't notice until you tried taking it on multiple consoles, and they decided to push back the release date. So I think kudos to them. You know,
Yeah. Yes. I will say yes. However, like, how did you not notice this until 2 hours before launch?
yeah, I'll give you that.
Um, because like, when was the embargo up? Because like that might have been one of the ways that they found out that there are issues. But I feel like if there were issues like this, I feel like maybe certain outlets who have higher power would have noticed and contacted said developers during their game, like while they're reviewing it, and be like, "Hey, FYI, there's some weird stuff happening here." And then
It-
just enough of those people talk, and I don't know. It just seems kind of like, why didn't they do this earlier? They even had that big event,
oh yeah,
the day before with the devs, and a wrestler with them too, over at Kind of Funny Studios. So like,
is that where Greg got hit with a
yeah,
guitar?
yeah,
That looked real. That looked
it
like
was
that
real.
hurt.
It was a real guitar.
That kind of looked like it hurt a little
It was like
bit.
probably like a stunt guitar, but it was a real guitar. There were two of them back there too. So I
Oh,
think someone else got hurt by another one. But like, yeah, like it's just crazy. Like, why spend all this time and money on this and then be like, hey, by the way, you like this game? You can't have it yet. You gotta wait 2 more weeks.
I mean, let's go back to another launch date when, and this is kind of relevant to a story later. Um, Back in younger days of Get Out of Gaming, in the early winter
Yeah,
before the first year,
yeah.
Alex and I are talking about some of our anticipated games of the year. I say the Grand Theft Auto trilogy. It's going to
Oh,
be spot on.
this wasn't where I was going, but okay.
Yeah, let's
I
talk.
was expecting
Oh, Cyberpunk.
well, you see, Cyberpunk is actually the worst game of all time. I'd feed it sale. Um,
Yeah,
yeah,
I mean, to be honest, yes, but I was anticipating this. We got it. It was broken from start. They knew it was broken, and then they're like, "Oh, we're gonna fix it. We're gonna give refunds." Well, you only got a refund if you were in a certain level. It was such a craziness because I remember talking to Rockstar and talking to Sony. I got no refund whatsoever, and now I own this $60 product. But I mean, I do hand it to them before of like, hey, we know there's a problem because I still think for them to pull it hours before the release date is a huge deal. That
it
means
is.
somebody higher up had to give the okay to say yes,
Yeah,
which doesn't happen very often. You know, maybe other games, if they would have taken this advice, let's just go down a list of, I don't know, Cyberpunk or Fallout 76, or I mean, I can think there's several. Anything that's done by Bethesda. I think if we could learn from this
Pokemon.
and Pokemon, oh yeah, that was pretty bad. That was a bad one. That was especially a
It's
Pokemon title.
supposedly it's still bad.
Man,
I want to go
um,
back. I want to go back to it. It's sitting on top of my Switch. That cartridge is sitting right there on top of it because I want to plug it in. But I'm gonna fall asleep after this podcast. You know that's gonna happen.
my son actually sold his copy because he was so tired of all the problems, and he loves Pokemon. There's
Yeah,
two things that child loves: it's Zelda and Pokemon. And he sold his Pokemon because he's like, I just can't keep doing this. It keeps doing weird things. But speaking of Pokemon, let's jump into the Pokemon presentation, August 2023. Got this from IGN. And wow, I knew this was happening. I didn't get a chance to watch it. Alex was like, "Hey, did you see this?" But we're just gonna go through the list on IGN. This may not be in order, but this is everything that was on the list. Now, this is like a short run. I don't want to say 30 minutes, maybe
35
40,
minutes.
35. Okay. So the first thing they did was they showed Pokemon Path to the Peak is a new animated series focused on a trading card game. Um, I actually went through and watched some of these trailers. That looked really cool. That's something very new. Like mostly
Yeah.
it's always Pokemon and stuff like that, but this is actually for the trading card game.
Yeah, like I like the art style a lot. It seems like something that would be on like Cartoon Network, rest in peace.
Oh yeah,
But like it feels like it'd be on there, Netflix or something, especially because they have like a Netflix deal. I was expecting this to be on here, but it seems like it's gonna be a web thing because they announced that it's the first episode is gonna be on YouTube like in a couple weeks, I think is what they said. But yeah, no, it looks really nice. It's cool to see a Pokemon product where Pokemon aren't real.
yeah, yeah. And I feel like that's what I liked about it is because it was using him as a trading card game specifically. So, and the art style made me feel a little bit like Disney, a little bit. Like some of their like they have a couple shorts on Disney.
Mm-hmm.
It had that vibe to it. So, they're going to show more next week at the World Championships. Um, Moving on, Detective Pikachu returns with a brand new trailer. This is a sequel to the 3DS game. They got the first trailer, which introduced some characters that will appear along with some of the gameplay. Most notably, Detective Pikachu will allow you to investigate various crime scenes. So this game actually comes out October 6th. It's funny. Alex and I were just talking about this year specifically. I personally feel like this is a big holiday season for games.
It's too big.
So it's so huge. And I totally forgot that this one is October 6th, but you also have Wonder that comes out in November. No, October.
Yeah.
And then you've got Mario RPG in November. It's just it's such a packed year.
And then don't forget about like the other things like Starfield in September and October. You got Spider-Man. Like there's too many games.
It's pretty crazy. I never played the 3DS version, but I did watch the movie. I don't know if that counts for anything.
It doesn't.
No. But I think this is definitely cool. I think this is Nintendo Switch kind of like getting the rest of their stuff out. We already know that sometime next year they're going to talk about their new console.
Yeah.
We won't get into that because there's so many rumors.
Too many rumors indeed.
I will say one rumor. I don't know how true it is. Because why would anybody write anything on Google lie to me? Supposedly, Square has the dev kits.
Yeah, I've heard supposedly people have dead kits. I didn't hear Square specifically, but
this person that wrote this said they talked to somebody at Square that said they do have the dead kits, and said that there is a possibility that the new Switches will run the Final Fantasy remake. 7 remake.
Yeah, maybe like the PS4 version.
Yeah, I mean, that system would have to be a monster to be able to run it. I mean, a Steam Deck can run it, can it? If it was a PC, I mean, but it's also
Probably.
huge and bulky.
Yeah, but then like Steam Deck, like I can run things, but then because it's a computer game, you can turn down a lot of features. So
Right.
It probably doesn't look super great still. Especially with the Steam Deck's screen, because the Steam Deck screen is worse than a Switch screen, like worse than an OLED. So
it should be interesting to see what they say. I mean, you're not going to see anything. I would be surprised if the end of this year, before end of the year, they just show something small or a name. But Pokemon Horizons series is coming. We got the first look of Pokemon Horizons, the series. Wasn't shared too much, set in the Palan region based on Pokemon that appeared in the series. No release date. It just says coming soon. That's all they really said. the picture definitely looks like a lot of the anime that's been out over the last couple of years. So I would think that this would be something that would be another Netflix maybe
I believe
exclusive.
it is, but I thought it was already out in Japan because this is the one with like uh the older guy who has a like a Pikachu, like Captain Pikachu, like he has like a sailor's hat on or whatever, like a captain's hat. Um and I think he has like a Charizard too.
Oh, okay.
Um but like and then the main focus is like a younger girl like on her first journey and then meets this kid who's from the Pokemon Journeys with like Ash and stuff and like the reboot stuff. But yeah, no sign of Ash at all. Like he's dead.
I mean, I feel like they said they were kind of done with that part. I still think he'll show up in things, you know.
Hmm.
Um, we'll kind of have to see. Um, but there's no release date, no nothing. Just says coming soon. Pokemon Go is getting Highland Region monsters next month. So these are ones from Scarlet. Um, Nearly a year after Pokemon Scarlet and Violet release, Pokemon Go is finally getting um, an update for these regions, and they'll start next month. They'll start rolling that out next month. This is the one that Alex sent me here. This one was kind of exciting. So they also they've announced that there's going to be some new games coming to the online. And the cool part was they were right after the presentation, they were available. So one is the Pokemon trading card game. Huge game. People love this game.
Hmm.
I know it was shown in the first trailers of when we got the Game Boy. And also in the N64 Pokemon Stadium 2, which is another pretty big game.
Yeah,
Um, which is here's what's crazy is like they showed it, and this is why I love Nintendo, is they're like, we're showing it like, hey, guess what? These are gonna be available today for you. Sign up.
yeah,
Um, it's funny because I paid, you know, a lot of money for the PlayStation Plus for the full package, and I also paid the $79.99 for the Nintendo. But I'm telling you, at this point now, I feel like the Nintendo is worth the money. PlayStation Plus, I'm still kind of on the fence about. The only thing is these games are so sporadically just released. There's never like a date
agreed.
every month, and they
Ag-
need to get better at that.
sure, but also they've never really promised you anything. And if you look at that compared to other services like Game Pass, like I feel like a broken record, but like Game Pass, like PlayStation Plus, um they don't lose anything.
That is true.
If it's added, it is, as far as I know, it is always there and will forever be on Nintendo Switch Online.
That is true.
So that is the big difference. You're paying for that library that is never leaving.
I do wish we would get. I mean, obviously this is a Pokemon event, but I still there's so many games that were Nintendo owned properties. Like Kid Icarus had a Game Boy game. You know, we did get one Metroid game, but there's another Metroid game that's not on there. Um, there's so many games that we've not got on Game Boy that we should have gotten already. Uh, we got we got Mario 2, but we didn't get the first Mario game. You know, which is so weird to me.
We don't need the first Mario game. It's not good.
It's harder, I will tell you that. It's stupid hard.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so those ones, if you're listening to this, they've been available. They're already on there.
Yeah, and the since it's Nintendo Switch Online, it's online, so supposedly you can play multiplayer with a Pokemon trading card game, as well as the Pokemon Stadium 2, I guess. But um, yeah, so you should be able to do like link cable and trade stuff and all that for Pokemon trading
That's
card game.
super cool.
Yeah,
Yeah. I will tell you this though, that's one thing Nintendo does well is that. So
yeah,
that's that's a pretty good thing. So Pokemon Scarlet and Violet officially have two new Pokemon coming. Mew and Mewtwo are coming to those games here. You can obtain Mew now by entering the password "Give me your Mew" in the mystery gift section of Scarlet or Violet, but the password is valid only until September 18th. So you have to do that now. Mewtwo will be available via Terra Raid battle beginning on September 1st. So I think that's pretty cool. Those are some like OG Pokemon.
Yeah.
So is this does this right here make you want to boot that game back up?
No, but I'm still going to anyway since I already planned on it.
I mean, I would say just to get Mew, you know?
I want to say this is like the second official way that we've ever been able to get a Mew like easy, like through like mystery gift. Because I think like X and Y or like one of those games, you know, you could get a Mew fairly easily. Because I'm pretty sure I have a Mew in one of those. But for this, yeah, I don't think we've been able to get a Mew before really. So it's cool, yeah, that there is a Mew, but I'm already planning on turning on the game and updating it and trying to beat it. Just because I want to. I fell off of that game too early because of my vacation. I think that's what it was, because I was in a different place, so I prioritized other things and actually interacted and was social with people instead of playing video games, you know. So I don't know. Are you don't own this game technically, but have you been
No,
interested in going back to it and like maybe purchasing it? Because like the prices aren't that bad for it.
no. I do kind of want to because I've actually been playing randomly. I've been playing Pearl on Switch,
Yeah.
and I've completed that game so many times. You know, I really need to move into some of the newer ones.
Yeah.
Um, there, I know at one point he owned both of them, and he got rid of both, and he was just so mad. I guess one time when he was playing, it just totally glitched out, and that was his last straw. And
Huh.
it didn't his it had to go all the way back to his last save, and he had more time in it. Uh,
That's why you always
you know,
gotta save. That's why you gotta
yeah,
save all the time.
yeah,
Yeah. I recommend, yeah, maybe you should get into it, because I've also noticed as well when I was playing once with people, because I did that one stream like a year ago or so where like three of us were all in the world together and just doing our own thing. The game actually felt more stable when we were connected to the internet instead of just me playing by
yeah.
myself. Um, but yeah, that'd be really cool. Yeah, if you get into it and do it, then we could always like play together and just like run through the things. I love Terra raids. I think raids are awesome. That was a thing in Sword and Shield. It's just that it was harder to get people to play that game, I feel. Whereas this one, Scarlet and Violet, like I feel like they've perfected raids and on how to do them, and um so yeah, I think it's worth it. I think you should look into it
I
at
mean,
least at a used store, because I think it's like $30 to $35.
yeah, it's not. And anytime GameStop has a sale, those are the only Pokemon games in sale.
You should get
Usually,
Violet though, since I have Scarlet.
yeah. That's what I was thinking. Eventually, I think it'll happen. Um, and I feel like I say this to my son later. Usually, after around Christmas and after, because it's so cold outside, I play more video games then because I don't go outside, right?
Yeah,
I play more than so yeah, I can definitely maybe that's something I do. Do not forget that if you gotta get that to get Mew, it has to be use that code up until September 18th. After that is no good.
actually, yeah. So yeah, you have until September 18th to buy this game if you want that Mew.
Oh, that means I probably end up buying it and texting you and going, "Hey, look what I just bought today." If I can get my GameStop points up to where I want,
Yeah.
thank you, GameStop. So they also showed a new web series. So this one, I really like the art of it. It's called Pokemon. Is it Paladin? Right? Wins
Paldean.
Paldean wins. So it starts on September 6th. It is a web series. Um, I really did like the art style of this one as well.
Mm-hmm.
But it's based on Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Focus on a student who wants to become a Pokemon trainer. So another web series here, which to be honest, I feel like that's the way to go without having like crazy contracts with people like Netflix and stuff like that.
Yeah.
They can put it on YouTube and bam.
Hmm.
Uh, Last thing here is they for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, the first DLC arrives next month. Um, it's called the Hidden Treasure of Area Zero, and so they kind of showed a little bit of that. Two new characters are confirmed that play into the expansion have a chance to catch a handful of new Pokemon not already available in the game for Scarlet and Violet. Um, so the Teal Mask arrives on September 13th.
That's soon.
Yeah. So again, adding to like what's coming out this fall compared to last year's fall, it's a huge amount. And I still think that we're gonna get another PlayStation event, and there's gonna be a ton of things, not a ton, but like one or two that are gonna be bigger titles that we didn't know about.
Hmm.
I feel like we're gonna get something there. Or maybe
Yeah.
we'll get a price on PlayStation VR too, because it's not. I mean, I would think so, but
Hmm.
yeah. So that was everything listed today on that. What did you think of it? I thought it was actually pretty decent.
So that wasn't everything listed. They ignored things. They lied. There were stupid things that we didn't talk about, like more like Pokemon Cafe things, I think, and
Oh yeah.
Pokemon Sleep. They talked about that briefly. Um, but like, yeah, that wasn't everything. So come on, what's wrong with you?
Come on,
Um,
IGN.
but overall, it it's disappointing. I didn't watch it when it was happening on purpose. Like one, I was working, but two, um, I didn't make an effort of watching it. I kind of just like read things and then I watched kind of funny watch it before we recorded this. Just because I needed something to watch while I was eating. So then I also I just want to actually see what was in it. Um and yeah, it's Pokemon events, Pokemon Presents are generally never worth it. Especially around this time of the year. The good ones tend to be in like March, I've
Yeah,
noticed.
that's the big one.
Because like
Um,
always like right before E3
yeah,
time, and then they show more of whatever that game is during the summer.
I still think at some point on Nintendo Online, we will see the older Pokemon games show up at some point. Especially with this Pokemon trading card game showing up. I feel like that's kind of a big one that
I don't
coming up.
I've thought about this, and everyone's like, "Come on, Nintendo, don't you want money? Like people will buy this stuff." Sure, they'll buy your subscription or whatever, and then I don't know how long they're gonna keep it though, because they're probably gonna like leave it. But if you make a remake again, then you get more money out of that. So I don't know if we're ever gonna see real Pokemon games on Nintendo Switch Online, just because their mentality is probably we can get more money if we make a different project out of it.
I mean, it could be. Look, they've remade some of them before,
Mm-hmm.
so and they turned out to be pretty well. Like because I was playing Pearl, I think it looks great now. I think it does. Um, so we'll have to wait and see on that. I feel like that's the last one. I feel like coming we're in the middle of August, not middle of August, early August, but I feel like we're gonna have one more. We're gonna have one more regular Nintendo one.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna have one more um, Sony one, and we'll have maybe one more Xbox, but that's it. I mean,
Yeah.
that's pretty much what we're gonna see before the end of the year. Because once they get into October, they're gun ho with holiday.
Yeah.
Uh, and I think even for Sony, they're gonna push their Spider-Man 2 agenda, and then they'll throw something out there that they didn't talk about
Mm-hmm.
because they got to make up for what they did earlier this year because it was not good at all, and they know it.
Yeah.
They know. As where Xboxes was okay, So we know Starfield's coming out, so they'll probably do something with Starfield. Uh, and with Nintendo, they're going to talk about Wonder. They'll probably show more Wonder, something, and then they'll be like, "Oh, surprise! There's this too." So kind of that. So the last thing I kind of want to talk about, because it's been kind of like this has kind of been out there. Me and Alex both have our opinions. So Red Dead Redemption, Rockstar has announced that Red Dead Redemption is coming. It'll be on PS4 and Nintendo Switch. Uh, it is not a remaster. So they have said several times this is a port. It is not a remaster. It's not a remake, but a conversion, according to Rockstar. These will sell for $49.99, and it will come with Undead Nightmare as well. I did see specs on it. It's not going to run. It's going to run at 30 frames. It's not going to run anything crazy because these are just port. The community has been up in arms about it, and I know we kind of talked about it a little bit, Alex. Some of it I see the point on, but I think some of it was like, okay, so you're giving us this here, which actually the digital releases on August 17th, which is right around the corner, with the physical versions arriving October 13th. There's been a lot of talk online. A lot of people are not happy. Right now you can go and buy the Xbox 360 version right now for less than $20. If you buy the Game of the Year edition, it comes with Undead Nightmare on the disc, and you can play them right now for $20 tops.
Maybe. Who knows? It might go expensive here soon.
Oh, I think it's going to go up in price here pretty soon because of that.
Yeah. And it's probably the better way of playing it as well, since it was optimized for Xbox Series X. Yeah, this is just an interesting thing. I wonder if was Red Dead ever on PC or no? Okay.
No.
So there's no multiplayer and stuff. I don't know if you said that, but yeah, there's no multiplayer. But I just lost my train of thought. I don't remember what I was saying. No.
I'll throw some other real quick while you're thinking about it. My biggest thing is we had talked in earlier podcasts. This was a rumor that this was happening.
Mm-hmm.
But here's my problem: is yes, did I expect it to come out looking like Resident Evil, 2, like a completely gutted, redone thing? No. And I get now after talking to you before about how they don't want to do online because it's gonna be a big pain in the butt. But I guess my only thing is do some upgrades. There's got to be more upgrades you can do to just make general overall better. Because if you're wanting to sell something for $50, and just so you know, right now, Red Dead Game of the Year edition for Xbox 360, $8.99 was the last one that sold. Now they are going up in price because here is, I don't know if you remember, there was an Xbox One.
The boxed version, yeah.
Yeah, it was. So right now it's like anywhere between $25 to $30 for sale.
Mm-hmm.
So I think this one here is $30. So I do feel like what's going to burn them is because they didn't do anything different, and that one's optimized for the Series X. I think a lot of people are going to turn around and just buy that one instead.
Yeah, I agree. So a thing that I was wondering, because I don't even know if that one's 30 frames as well. It might still be. I wonder if the reason why there's no like better frame rate. I wonder if the frame rate is tied to the speed of the game, because a lot of old games like that used to be like that, and if you like messed with settings and like ported it to I don't know, like did some weird cracking stuff, and like you changed the frame rate, and then the game was just like super fast, because that's just how they did things back then. That's how they programmed things, because they didn't expect you to change the frame rate. but this is we were talking about this earlier as well. Like this is being ported by a UK developer, Double 11 Studios. They haven't really done too much, to be honest. It seems like they worked on like Little Big Planet on Vita. They worked on some Fallout 76 content. They didn't work on the game itself, but they worked on stuff after the game got better, so like around 2022. There's some other things here or there for ports and stuff, but this is really like their first maybe. Oh, and then I guess they did Chinatown Wars, Grand Theft
Yep.
Auto on like iOS or something. But like this is like really like their first big one, I feel. Besides Little Big Planet. Um, but I'm curious how this is going to run on Switch because I feel like that's the main focus for this team and this development, this price and everything. I think the price for $50 is probably fine for a Switch copy of this game, because I bet that it is, assuming that it is working properly. And
Correct.
this isn't the same people who did the Grand Theft Auto trilogy, porting and stuff like that. Um, so assuming that this game works properly and everything and it is working well on the Switch, I think $50 is a fair price for a game that is somewhat old and comes with the whole thing plus Undead Nightmare. Doesn't have online, sure, but you're playing Red Dead Redemption on the Switch. Like I think that in its like that is worth it to a degree.
Yeah.
Now for PS4, it's total crap. I don't think that it's worth it for that. I think unless it was an actual PS5 version, an Xbox Series X version, then maybe. But as far as we know, this is just moving an Xbox and PS3 version to to a PS4 disc, and then it says that's backwards compatible with the PS5, and that's how you can use it with PS5. Cool, but what does that do for you? Because I know like some games, if they're backwards compatible with PS5, sometimes they're like enhanced, like they're PS4 Pro enhanced or PS5 enhanced. So
Right.
there's certain things like that. It's like when you play like Kingdom Hearts 3 on PS5 or PS4 Pro, like it's 60 frames just already, like that kind of stuff. And with this, I doubt there is going to be any of that because I feel like again their main focus was the Switch copy, and I want to say I saw someone tweet about it who was like, "I'm the lead developer in this port or something," because I saw it and I don't think it was before all the hatred and stuff happened, so I don't know if that tweet's still there. I don't know if they got a bunch of responses or whatever. But they said that they were proud of what they did for Switch. So yeah, I don't I think they maybe should have had two different groups, or at least try to do something for PS5 natively. But again,
I agree. I think so. Here's my thing. Somebody actually posted, and I was trying to look for it. I did see someone post like, what does it look like on the consoles, right? So, on a PS4 Pro or a PS5, it can go up to 1440, but it'd still be at 30 frames.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there. But I think if if you want to play this on a next gen console, your best bet, if you want to get the best way of playing it, it's going to be Xbox.
Yeah.
And I think it is. But the cool thing is if you decide, and now my thing is going to be, I got to see what the Switch One looks like.
Yeah.
I want to make sure it runs okay because I have LA Noir, which is a pretty big game.
Yeah.
And there are some parts of it where you can see the frames kind of cut in and out.
Yeah, but overall, like it works really well on Switch.
Yeah, it does. It does. I mean, I have no problem like the running and gunning or getting in a car and shooting at somebody. And so that's what you want with this game here, because you're going to be on a horse shooting people or using Red Dead. Or the big thing's going to be is when you get into a gunfight with somebody and you have to do the drawing.
Oh, yeah.
That's going to be the big thing to be able to do that on a Switch. How cool is that going to look on an OLED?
Yeah.
I think to me, if this thing runs great on Switch, I will probably buy the physical copy. And
Mhm.
I that's my thing. I think we talked before. You think that they're going to sell more Switch copies than they will PS4.
100%.
I'll give you another game that happened with when they had the Mega Man game that came out earlier this year. They had like the 6 Mega Man games in like
Battle
they had it for
Network.
yep, they had it for Switch and they have it for PS4.
Mhm.
You can't find a Switch version for the life of you, but there's a ton of PS4 versions.
Yep. Because it's
Um,
a Game Boy Advance game. They want it portable.
right, yeah, and that's where it should be played. Now, this game, just for the fact that this game could be a portable playing game, yeah. Now, if this ever comes to PC, I would probably buy it on PC.
Yeah. Who knows? I think the main reason why it isn't coming to PC is because people probably expect as well that online play, and there just is no online architecture for it, so they're just
No.
not gonna deal
And
with it.
and they're not going to do it. They're too busy working on Grand Theft Auto 6 whenever that's going to come out.
Yeah,
I think,
exactly.
I think this is coming out so quickly. I think this is my thought. It's coming out super quick, and it's coming out like they pushed it just to do what they pushed it for because they're needing money. I mean, I to be honest, I think they're needing money. I think they're thinking that people are not playing Grand Theft Auto 5. They're not rebuying it. They're not buying the money currency in the
I
game.
don't think they're needing money because if you look, Grand Theft Auto 5 is still like in the top seller list every single month. It's still selling somehow. I don't know who's buying it, but it's still there. I think Grand Theft Auto 6 will probably be announced here at Game Awards. I could see that. And maybe they just want to get this out really quick just to be like, hey, we did it. Now let's actually focus on our real thing.
Yeah. I mean, who knows? I feel like, what I would tell people, wait till the reviews to come out.
Yeah.
Wait till and I think I don't know about you, but if I buy this, I'm gonna probably buy it on Switch.
Yeah. 100%.
You know,
Same.
I think it's gonna be the best way to play the game. And also, how cool is it like before I go to bed, if I play like, a couple rounds like in my bed,
Yeah.
and then, hit the sleep button and, go to bed.
I wonder
Uh,
if the cartridge can fit the whole game or not.
it's a big,
Because LA Noir
yeah.
couldn't. But that was also back when the cartridges were smaller.
Yeah. I think they've got to the point now they can probably get the whole game on there.
If they
But
want to spend that money for the cartridge.
I don't know, but how cool is it going to be for when you go pick up your copy of Red Dead on Switch though?
It's so cool.
I mean, I think that's super cool. Now, I have heard that the Nintendo Switch versions of the trilogy work really well on the Switch, but I don't think all 3 games are on the cart, if I remember correctly. I could be wrong.
I thought like just 1 or 2 of them were.
Yeah. Yeah. So we'll wait and see. But yeah, those are just a couple things that we were going to talk about. I would say that this is a bi-weekly podcast. We post every other week, and we're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we're on Twitch for right now, we're on Threads. So definitely get onto Threads. That's brand new for us. Go follow us there. I'm still learning how to do it, but they've been doing updates pretty frequently.
Yeah.
Not only can you catch us on your favorite place to get your podcast, your audio podcasts at, including Spotify, Apple Podcast, Amazon, iHeartRadio, and Pandora, you can go to YouTube and watch this in living color on Fridays.
Like the show in living color?
I actually think that is one of my favorite shows.
Really?
Yeah, I used to watch it all the time. My dad loved that show. Are you kidding? Look how many people it created from there, man. Damon Wayans and Jim Carrey, and
that's true.
one of the Fly Girls was like J-Lo.
Oh yeah?
Did you know that?
No.
Early episodes. One of the girls, they call them the Fly Girls, right?
Yeah.
One of them is J-Lo.
Huh.
I know, right? I mean, you look back at it and you're like, oh look, there's the new one. I think they called her Jennifer too. They didn't call her like J-Lo. They called her Jennifer.
Yeah, I'm seeing it.
Isn't that crazy?
That That is crazy. Wow. Well, you learn something new every day in a podcast.
Um, but yes, definitely check us out there. Support us, follow us. Please, wherever you get your podcast from, hit that follow or download our episodes. It does a lot for us. We love doing this. We have some new things coming very, very soon. Big things that I think you guys will really, really like. Other than that, I mean, I don't really have anything. Do you have anything, Alex?
Just to get at it.
Get at it.